You don't ghost people you respect. And in 2026, if you're still ghosting candidates, this ain't right. That's not a time issue. That's lazy leadership. Today, I'm back with legendary hospitality HR leader Arte Nathan to talk about how to fix it for real.
Yeah.
This is No More Ghosts. And in the next 15 minutes, you're getting a playbook to turn black hole hiring into a human, honest process. Welcome back to No More Ghosts, brought to you by hospitalitymatches.com. Real talk about real jobs in hospitality. No black holes, no BS. I'm your host, Jeannie Marie, and my mission is simple: fix broken hiring in hospitality so job seekers aren't left hanging in the dark. If you caught episode one, Black Holes and BS, you already met my guest, Arte Nathan. Partner in crime, Arte is a legendary hospitality HR leader, former CHRO for Steve Wynn. Yeah, that's right. I said that right. Steve Wynn's gaming companies and Wynn Resorts, and one of the earliest champions of hire for attitude, train for skills. In episode one, we unpacked what ghosting and black hole AT systems actually look like from the inside, and Artie shared his people first approach to HR and honest communication. Today, in episode two, Broken, we're getting practical. By the end of this combo, you'll walk away with specific, no fluff actions you can take to stop ghosting candidates, improve your employer brand, and give job seekers a fair shot and a real answer. Artie, welcome back to No More Ghosts.
Hey, Gene, good to see you again.
Okay, let's start with the obvious pain point. It's always good to see you, by the way.
Thank you.
From your vantage point, where does ghosting actually happen most in the hospitality hiring process?
I think there's maybe two key times that it happens. The first time is when the hiring manager or the recruiter gets so many resumes that they just are overwhelmed and they don't know what to do. And they sit there staring at them and hoping something will jump out at them. But realistically, they've got to then go through all of these and they can't because it's just too much. And so they don't contact anybody. That's where the ghosting starts, when they have too many resumes and they can't get back to anybody. The
So,
second time
oh, I'm
is
sorry, go ahead. Number two. There is a number two.
so number two, they find a candidate, and online it's hard to find a candidate. But when they do, they've put all their focus on that candidate and they ignore all the rest of them. I think that's a mistake because these are potential job seekers for you in the future if you treat them well, or they could be your employees, or they could be people on the street talking about your company. So I think getting back to people. Now my practice was pretty simple. When I got finished with all the resumes and all the interviews, I called the person I liked and I made them a job offer. But I also called the people that were kind of second, third, or fourth choices. And I wanted to keep them happy. And so I told them, here's what I thought about the interview. Here's what I thought about your resume. Here's what I thought about your experience. And I turned it into a coaching session, and I made a lot of friends that way. And so I think it's important to get a hold of them first when you initially get that resume, to let them know that it's not stuck in a black hole someplace. And then when it's all over, thank them, give them a little feedback, and maybe focus on them again in the future.
I mean, you never know when you're gonna touch another human being at another point in your life. You
Yeah.
just never know. So, okay, first of all, like no one does that today. So I just want to say, like, wow, we are so impressed. But this is how Artie, has such he's legendary in the field because he did these kind of things that really were different and really, differentiated him and his style and the company. So let's not like, let's take a moment and just be like, wow, incredible. All right, because it would be awesome if we could come back around to that today. But Artie, when you hear people say like we're too busy or the ATS doesn't make it easy, what do you want to say to them? What do you want to say back to them?
Hiring is not easy. I agree with that. But you can't put it off because you need people. And you need people to fill in with the people you already have so that they're not doing more with less or working too hard. And secondly, you never know what you're going to find. When you add somebody to your team, it can be so incredibly good for you and your company and your team that you want to make sure that you put a lot of focus on it. Now, people always say to me, look, I can't find good employees. And I think there's a couple of issues there. Maybe they can't find them in the places where they're going to look for them. And I think you have to pay attention to the source of your applicants. And where you get a lot of good applicants from one source, focus on that source. But today, you know, hiring managers are not recruiters. They put that job on somebody else, like a job board. A job board really isn't a recruiter either. It's putting out a lot of notices. But just just think of yourself when you go online and you look at a lot of things, how many stick? And the fact of the matter is, you as the recruiter, you have to put something out there. You have to make people want to talk to you or want to apply to your jobs. And so you have to do more than just put it up on a job board. And everybody's got ATSs, the applicant tracking systems. And so people put their application in. And what happens? Have you configured your ATS to do good quick notifications back to the people? And if it's somebody really nice that you, or really good that you want to stay in touch with, you can put an extra notification in there. You can even send a handwritten note. I mean, how many people do that anymore? But an applicant who got a handwritten note, they would stop in their tracks. They would think this is a pretty cool company. So I think there's a lot that they can do, but don't get overwhelmed. And frankly, that was the impetus behind hospitality matches. I mean, we thought if we could be an adjunct to your hiring process, if we could have live recruiters working for you, not just working for the job seekers, but working for you so that they understand who you are and what you're really looking for, what your style is and what works for your style, what the culture is in your company and the kinds of people who fit in well in your company. All those things you have to start thinking about and put that on your website. Make sure that you communicate those positive things to job seekers because to them, it's a blizzard of jobs, just like to you, it's a blizzard of resumes.
I mean, this is about leadership and it's a two-way street. People looking for jobs have to understand that, yeah, they're the ones that need to get hired, but it is a two-way street. You have to know where you're going and you have to have ideals and objectives and culture match. And there's accountability with the companies that are hiring. You have to add that human element back in. That's why we love hospitality matches so much, because to Artie's point, they found the pain point, right? Yeah, it's harder today. There's a lot more people, there's a lot more competition. How do you stand out? How do you stand out? Like today, I know in Vegas, there is a job fair going on at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Okay. It's like a job board. It's like a live job board, right? How do people stand out? How do those employers get people to come and talk to them? I mean, this is like taking this live thing and putting it online, and that's what hospitalitymatches.com does, right? There are so many people and jobs and companies, and yes, like Artie said, don't get overwhelmed. So, Artie, from your perspective, you've scaled hiring at a level most of us will never see, right? Thousands of people, tight timelines, huge openings like The Win, Encore, Beau Rivage. Can you share a story from those days that shows that there is a better way out there?
So when when we opened all the big hotels, we wanted to meet everybody who applied. And that went against the tide because they thought, well, we just have this paperwork and maybe we can email people. that doesn't make an impression. So everyone who applied on our ATS, we sent them an automatic notification that says, "Hey, we'd really like to meet you. Go on our calendar right here and schedule a quick appointment. We just want to take 5 or 10 minutes of your time, and let's get to know each other." And in that time, we made sure that we were on time, that we kept the schedule tight, and everyone we met, we wanted to know what was their attitude about working, what was their personality like. In that first meeting, we didn't do anything about skills and experience, the things that they think you're going to look at or they're nervous about talking. We wanted to know if they really had a good attitude because we're in the service business. Hospitality is all about service. It's taking care of people. It's making eye contact. It's smiling. When I opened the resort at Pelican Hill, the owner of the company, when we opened, uh, he came to me and he says, "Wow, all these employees, they're smiling. How did you teach them how to smile?" I said, "I didn't teach them how to smile. They smiled in the interview, so I hired them." And people laugh at that. They think it's a cute story, but it's true because at that moment, they're putting their best foot forward. And then when you hire them, you go right back at them and you say, "Hey, remember you smiled in the interview? I like that. That's why I hired you. So remember to smile because I know you can." And it's just little things like and interviews are easier today because of Zoom. You can get to somebody. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to do interviews online. They want to meet them, they want to press the flesh. But guess what? You can get a lot. I'm talking here to Jean, and she's paying attention. She's looking. This eye contact stuff is so important, and you can catch it really quickly. Now, I'll talk in a few minutes about how we assess candidates because I think you want to hire people, especially in hospitality, who are optimistic. And that means they're flexible, they're patient, they're curious, they're resilient, and they have grit. And a little test for general optimism can tell you an awful lot about people. And we recommend that both to job seekers. Well, why don't you let's take the test and that'll put another dimension to you at the recruiter's level. Or you ask the recruiter to ask the candidates to take a simple test. Because the more you know, the better you feel about really hiring somebody. And that's what it takes. This is, in the gaming business, we say it could be a crapshoot. It really is. You don't know what you're hiring. And so the more you do, the more you're comfortable as a recruiter and in interviewing, bringing out the skills in people as well as bringing out the attitude. I think you get a lot more about the candidate making you feel better who you're going to hire.
I love that because it blows up the myth that people are too big or growing too fast, all right, to treat candidates like humans. You did it at scale, which means today's operators can do the same. And to your point, we have technology to make it easier.
It does.
It really does.
We had a
So
thing. We had a thing at Win. We called it the Mother Hen Project. If you liked a candidate, stay in touch with them. Send them a note once or twice a week. Tell them, look, it's a big project. There's a lot of people involved here, but hang on because we really like you. You say something like that to a candidate, it makes an impression, especially against this topic we're here today about ghosting. Again, most people who apply online hear nothing. And there's nothing worse than that if you're a job seeker, because what's it tell you about the company? What's it tell you about this person that's hiring you? They don't care. That's what it says if you ghosted. So I think you can contact them a lot. We used to send them uh, a little ruler that said you measure up to our expectations. All kinds of little tchotchkes that are crazy. But again, think of the job seeker. They're out there waiting for any kind of a sign, and most recruiters just don't get back to them. This ghosting thing it's a terrible issue, and yet it's well within your control. And again, don't think you're too busy because there's nothing more important than the people you're going to hire. It really is an important project.
I like what you said about the people smiling. I mean, you're like, and the point about, this is the hospitality business. So if you can't lead by example and make people feel like they're humans, how are you going to expect them to do that? Right? I mean, it goes back and forth. All right.
It does.
So yeah, let's assume, Artie, and I know you do this on the regular anyway, but consulting to a hotel or a casino today that's opening, where would you start when it comes to that? Like they have to hire thousands of people. What where do they start? What does the playbook look like?
The playbook starts with your workplace culture. Who are you as a company? Not what are you as a company or what products do you make and sell. It's who you are. And I think I start with let's talk about being an employer of choice or having a culture of excellence. And I think it starts with being a real human being, treating others the way you want to be treated. Good communication, good listening skills, good feedback, good training. And when you start talking about those things in a posting, as opposed to, you work from 9 to 5, you do these kinds of things. Everybody knows what you do in any kind of a job. And frankly, the job seekers don't care. They want to know what's the heart of the company. And so I start there. And again, if you ever went to any of our employment offices for the Wynn or the Mirage or Bellagio or Beau Rivage, those were beautiful settings. They made a statement because in hospitality, it's true, you only have one chance to make a good first impression. And if you make a less than good first impression, why should this candidate pick you? And let's remember, it's a buyer's choice today. Candidates have their pick of a lot of jobs because people are struggling. And if you're the best looking employer, you're going to get the best looking candidates.
Right on. Make that commitment to them about the culture somewhere where they see it. Because if they're just waiting to talk to you, right? They're not seeing it, they're not hearing it, they're not attracted to you. Where is that communicated? It's a communication promise. Is it on your website? Is it in your social media? Is it, like Artie said, in the job posting? Okay, it needs to attract them. They need to feel that, especially today, the younger generations that are on the rise right now are really looking for that feel good culture.
Yeah.
They're really looking for that, giving back, social impact, corporate social responsibility. Okay, so it's super important to be out there with it. Don't hold it in. Don't make it a family secret.
Oh no, put it on your website. If you have social media, put that on your social media. Show how you spotlight employees, how you're employee first. You know, that's what comes through. And again, it is reinforced by how you act. You can't put a statement up on your website and then never get back to anybody or never answer their questions. Uh, One has to match the other. And if you're going to call them in for an interview, you be on time. You be right there at the door greeting them. You shake their hand, make eye contact, smile at them, walk and talk with them, see how they're reacting to you and how you're reacting to them. These are big issues for a candidate. And whether we like to admit it or not in the recruiting game, people make up their minds pretty quickly. You meet somebody
Mhm.
and you're reading the room. It's like walking into a bar, and you see a room full of people. How do you know who you're going to walk up to and talk to? Somehow that silent communication is going back and forth. And so you have to put it all out there when the candidate comes to meet you. And again, you're interviewing them, but they're interviewing you. And they have more possibilities than you have candidates today. That's the problem in the recruiting business. And so you got to make a big first impression and you got to back it up with your actions and make sure that they know you care. That's where people want to take a job in a company that cares about me as opposed to those companies that I'm just a number or I'm going to get outsourced by AI or something. There's no reason in the hospitality business to not put your best foot forward. And again, In hospitality, very few of our employees can be replaced by AI or enhanced by AI because it's people to people. And that's where it's got to happen, it's got to shine. And that's a moment that the boss can't get between the employee and the customer. You know, they've got to be motivated, they've got to be inspired. And you can do that by being a great human being and then a great boss. I think it's simple, but it can't be because so many people screw it up.
It does sound though, it almost is like a selling point. I mean, so in the hospitality business, it's people to people, and AI won't take your job. So use that, right? I mean, definitely use that in your advantage.
Yeah. It
So
you've got a couple of strong points. Make sure you lead with them.
make
That's
sure you lead. And if you have to say no, Artie, you alluded to this earlier, right? You said you got back to people even though they weren't the winner. What's a good way to get back to people to make them feel like it's okay? Like this is just not a good fit, but you did a great job. Like what are some things that recruiters or companies can do to deliver
uh,
that message?
I know most people say, well, yeah, I don't have time for that. At Wynn Las Vegas, we had 125,000 applicants. We hired 11,000 people, which means we said no to 114,000 people who we still wanted to like us, maybe use us, again in the future for another application or be a customer. I wrote personally to all 114,000 of those people who did not get the job.
Wow.
And again, you could look, I could today I'd use AI to do that. I
Right.
automatic notifications. There are technology things that you could use to do that. So it's not overwhelming. It's not like you need a cadre of secretaries over here to do it. Back then we did. But I have to tell you, if you don't treat your applicants like customers, just like if you don't treat your employees like customers, they're going to see right through you. All those promises you make to them about, well, you're going to love this job, this is a great company, I'm a great guy. Uh, they see through that if you're not. They'll see through it real quickly. And don't take my word for it. Look at your own statistics. How many of your new hires leave you during probation? Not that they didn't work out and you had to let them go, but how many said to you, I don't like this, I'm walking away? You know, new hires ghost their employers all the time when they don't like it because they don't want to get in an argument. But you can assess whether this stuff is working in your company. And if you don't pay attention to this, you're not going to be the winner of the hiring game. And the hiring game is a war for talent. Don't mistake it. Again, I can't stress this enough. There are more job seekers than there are jobs.
So I hope people are hearing that because when you're looking for jobs, you don't always think that. That is an incredible revelation. All right. So, and that's a good way for us to segue into the next segment because what we want to talk about now is we gave a lot of really good advice from artist perspective, what leaders need to do, what's good leadership, what it shows up really well in a hospitality business as you're trying to recruit people. But let's flip the script. Uh, Artie, let's flip the script. What do you wish that, you know, candidates should know about these recruiters? What are some, you know, ways that they can think about the mindset of the recruiters to help them in the process?
Well, you've got to put your best foot forward, just like the company does, because you have to make the good first impression just like they do. And so, how many times, uh, say you're a job seeker and you put your resume up on a job board and you get a response. What do? You just hold your breath and hope they'll give you a second response? No. In the old days, people used to send me a handwritten note. Thank you for getting back to me. As a job seeker, you're continually trying to make that right, good impression. And so I think job seekers don't don't obsess over trying to make a good, I had to be perfect. Just be human. Just like you asked the recruiter to be human. And if that happens in this first meeting, whether it's online or in person, two people who connect because there's a human across from them connecting with them, that's a powerful thing. And again, as a recruiter, you got to hook them. You got to keep them interested, and so you hook them by being human. You keep communicating with them to let them know that you are continually caring about them, and you're building that relationship. And relationships are important in life, they're important at work. And if you build that relationship, you'll both feel good about the match when it happens.
It's a lot like dating.
Well, yeah, it is a lot like dating, um, but it's a lot like going to a restaurant. Okay, you go to a restaurant, you go to a lot of restaurants, there are a lot of them, and you go in there, the server has to be, real attentive. The host or hostess has to make eye contact and smile and welcome you, and the food has to come out quickly and hot and correct. So you're building a relationship. Why do you go back to a restaurant when there are so many that you can keep trying? You go back because I liked my experience in that other restaurant. So that's why you go back. And I think everything in life is about building relationships.
Yeah, the guest experience.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. The relationships, everything, and the more you experience life and the more the older you get, you see how important those relationships really are. So don't neglect them early on. I mean, I think with what happened with COVID and those couple of years and people were isolated and it really broke the system a little bit. I think we're starting to get back into it now and in real life experiences and people are doing, more in the office and that kind of thing. The hospitality business never really left, right? I mean, they had to continue through that. So, yeah, guest experience, priority, top priority. And what does that say to a candidate when they get ghosted like three times? What does that say about them and about the company?
Well, look, as I keep saying, the hiring game isn't easy. There's a, and most people, it's just a casual responsibility. You don't do it every day, so you practice and get really good at it. So you have to focus, have a plan, and make sure that you use that plan and you stick to it. All right. And I think this ongoing communication is so important. But let me speak to the recruiter for a moment, where we started. Again, that recruiter, they post the job, they get so many resumes that they're stunned. All right. Our job at Hospitality Matches is one, to have live recruiters that go through that batch of resumes. But the key here for us, and this is our real proposition, is we'll give you the best three, four, or five of them so that you don't have to spend a lot of time. You don't have to waste going through all those lines and trying to figure out, is this right? This exactly what I want? I can go through resumes very quickly. And but then I find the ones I like, I talk to them, I talk to them more, I build a relationship with them. I really find out what they're looking for in their next job. And a lot of that is based on what I didn't like in my last job or what I did like. I guess you could look at it that way. But it's mostly what I didn't like in my last job and what I don't ever hope to find in my next one. So I that's where candidates are coming from. So you've got to quickly assess it. So, you know, what was your experience in your last job? That's a great question. What was your experience with your supervisor? It's a great question. See if they even had one. And then we can make the match. We can give you the best couple of resumes. And then you talk to them. You, Mr. Recruiter, you talk to them and you start building that relationship. And I can't stress enough hiring for attitude, especially in the hospitality business. I mean, what's it take to be most of the jobs in the hospitality business? A little bit of practice, and you get pretty good at it after a while. But it's the attitude, that can do attitude, that general optimism. and resilience and flexibility and grit. That's what people want to see. That's what when an, when a recruiter hears about that and sees that, whether it's through an assessment that we could provide for you or it's somehow embedded in the discussion. When you start to see that as a recruiter, you start to feel good. I know most recruiters are they're doubters. Well, they're just putting on a good face for me. But I don't agree with it. I think people put on their best face in an interview, and you see the best in them. And if you like it, keep reinforcing it, keep reminding them about it. And I think that goes a long way.
I mean, this is no joke. This is a man who hired, like he said, over 300,000 people in his career. I'm probably lowballing that number. But, you know, hiring for attitude is what made Artie so successful. Hiring and seeing potential in people, not just what's on the paper, but beyond the page. And I really think that's what is, an incredible trait that you need to have in the human resources, in the recruiting, in the people field. Got to be able to see people's potential. So, hospitality matches makes it easier for you to do that. It takes some friction out of the process. But Artie, what about hospitality matches and getting the resumes and ghosting? How are they handling, the volume of resumes and the ghosting too? Are they kind of walking the walk and talking the talk?
Well, a lot of what we're doing here today, Gene, is posted on social media. And social media, you can like somebody or you can contact somebody. And in those contacts, we at Hospitality Matches have to walk the talk. I mean, if somebody goes to our website and says hi, or would you check out my resume? We've got to get back to them. And that's a lot of work. But guess what? It's good work. It's the work of building relationships. It's the way people want to be treated. And so we've got it built into our plan. We're going to have enough recruiters to get back to all the people who contact us. It's not going to be me with a pile of contacts and I just don't have time. No, we've built that into how we can scale up. And it isn't going to be AI and it isn't going to be a bot that gets back to you. It's going to be me and my partners calling you up and getting to know you. And really, when you try to make a match for somebody else, it's an awkward position. But I've done it so many times, and so have my partner. That we've all been in human resources and recruiting, and we've made these. So the the head of food and beverage calls me and says, I need a food and beverage manager. I need a sous chef. All right. So I've got to know my managers who are asking me for, to post jobs for them. And then I have to get to know the other people who are applying. And I have to assess, is this a good fit? Is this someone that's going to really click with our hiring manager? At Hospitality Matches, that's a big thing for us. We're going to us, it's personal, and we're going to make it personal. And we're going to make sure that you get every opportunity to get in front of the right person and get the right job.
This is personal.
It's personal.
Hardy, thank you for telling the truth about what's really going on and for giving us a concrete way forward. So it's just enlightening. It's refreshing. And so we're going to get ready to wrap up this episode. Just a quick recap for those of you that are listening if you want no more ghosts in your hiring process. One, make a clear communication promise to candidates and publish it where they can see it. Two, train your hiring managers to own the follow up. And you can get hospitalitymatches.com to be a partner in that. Three, use technology to speed up, not shut down the human connection. We want to explode the human connection. Four, respectful no messages. No messages that leave candidates informed, not abandoned. Again, that human element. And five, don't ever forget every interaction shapes your reputation in the industry. your brand. So if you're an operator or an HR leader, here's your challenge for the week. Audit your hiring process. Change one thing that reduces ghosting. Maybe it's updating your replies. Maybe it's setting a response rule. Maybe it's partnering with hospitalitymatches.com. And if you're a candidate who's been ghosted, please share this episode with a friend. You are not the problem. There are leaders like Artie out there trying to do this better, and we're going to keep spotlighting them. This has been No More Ghosts, brought to you by hospitalitymatches.com. I'm Jeannie Marie. That was the incredible Arte Nathan. Thank you again, Artie, for being with us today. And we'll be back again with more real talk about real jobs in hospitality. No black holes and no BS.
Okay, so it's like, hey, thanks for checking out our website. If you saw me on the social media, you know that I'm real interested in helping you make a match. So I'll tell you what, if you send me your resume, we'll go through it and we'll give you helpful hints to make this the kind of resume that'll catch a recruiter's eye. So go ahead, click on that today and let us get started. Thanks. Hey, you just clicked on our website. Thank you very much. If you saw me on social media, you know that I'm looking for great job seekers, just like you. So post your email and you're going to get a call back right away. That's our business proposition. No ghosting. Call us. Hey, thanks for contacting us. Here at Hospitality Matches, we're all about getting back to people. So I tell you what, where it says put your email in there, put your email in there, and you're going to find that we call you right back. There's no ghosting here. And if you want, send us your resume and we'll critique it. We'll give you some ideas of how to make your resume the one that catches a recruiter's eye. So go ahead, hit that button. Let's get going.